All right, third graders, today's lesson is I can round to the nearest 10. When we're talking about the tens, we're talking about the tens place. Let's take a look at a number line. Right here, we have a number line that's showing numbers between 30 and 40. So if we were to take those numbers, just place them on the number line where they belong. Here is what we would find out. 36, 37, 38, 39, and there's 40. If you look here, these numbers, 31 is really close to 30. Okay, so is 32. It's closer to 30 than it is to 40. So what rule do we remember to round? The first thing we do is we find the tens place. Here's the 10 place in 32. We look behind it and we look at this number. This number tells us if this number is 4 or less, we're going to let the number rest and stay a 3. If the number behind the tens place, so here's the tens place, and we look behind it, if this number is 5 or greater, we're going to say, see you later to the 3, and those numbers are going to go up. So the 3 is either going to rest or go up. So let's just look. All of these numbers, 31, 32, 33, 34, if we were to round those numbers, they would all round to 30. All the ones next to it are 4 or less. If it's 4 or less, we let the tens place rest. If the number behind it is 5 or more, okay, 5 or more, 5 or greater, see you later to the 3s, and we're going to go up to 4s. So 35, 36, 37, 38, and 39 all get rounded to 40 because they're closer to 40 than they are to 30. So when we're rounding numbers, we're making them easy. We're taking the approximate number. So here's what we say. We say 5 or greater, see you later. 4 or less, let it rest. So let's try again. Here we have a number line showing numbers between 90 and 100. Let's say that I have the number 93. I want you to think about, is 93 closer to 90 or 100? If you said it was closer to 90, you were right. Now, if I didn't have this number line and I was just looking at the number 93, because I'm rounding to the nearest 10, I would find the tens place, and then I would look behind it. This is a 3. 3 or less, let it rest. So 93 goes to 90. Now, this stays true if we have a number that is in the hundreds. We're still rounding to the nearest 10. So if we think what numbers are between 560 and 570, let's take a number that would go right here. This number right here, let's count. 560, 561, 562, 563, 564, 565, 566. Now remember, I am still rounding this number to the nearest tens, so here's the tens place. I don't care about the 5. Right now, I don't care about the 5 because I'm rounding to the nearest 10. So I find the tens place. I look at the number behind it. That tells me what to do. Is this number 4 or less? Am I going to let this 6 rest? Or is it 5 or greater? See you later. You're right. This is 5 or greater. See you later. So this 66 is going to get rounded to 570. Notice that nothing happens to the hundreds because we are still rounding there to the nearest 10. Okay? So Let's keep practicing. Now we don't have a number line, and let's look at these numbers. We're rounding to the nearest 10. That's why we have here. So we have 243. We need to round 243 to the nearest 10. Remember, we look behind the number. This number is a 3. 4 or less. Let it rest. It's going to stay a 4. This number rounded to the nearest 10 would be 240. Let's do one more. Round this number to the nearest 10. Ignore the hundred space because we're only rounding the nearest 10. So we're really looking at the number 55. Is that going to stay and rest as a 50, or is it going to go up to a 60? Let's see. Here's the tens place. Look behind it. 5 or greater. See you later. This is going to go see you later. We're going up to a 6. See you later, 50. We're moving on to bigger and better things. So what you're going to do today is you are going to do 2 worksheets. Here's your first worksheet. You're going to round the numbers to the nearest 10. Okay? Down here, you're going to say which 2 numbers round to 40. So look, would this number round to 40? Would this number round to 40? Look at all of them. There are 2 numbers that would round to 40. Then, which 2 stars would round to 30? Now notice you're only going to have 4 answers. There are 6 stars up here, so you will not use all of the stars. Right here, you are going to write 4 numbers that round to 20. Could I put 25 up here? Would that round to 20? No, it would not, because this number would be 5 or greater. 25 would go up to 30, so that one would be wrong. What could I put that to? You're right, instead of a 20, I would put this as a 15. 15 rounded to the nearest 10 would be 20. Now you do these ones. 27 rounds to 20. Is that true, right, or false, wrong? Well, this number is 5 or greater. So we're going to say see you later to the 2, and this is going to go to a 30. So this is false. We're going to read each statement and round the numbers. Your second worksheet today is a fun worksheet. It's Humpty Dumpty's Great Fall, and it's a riddle. So what we are going to do is we are going to round 27. Remember, we're only rounding to the 10. 27 rounded to the nearest 10 is 30. I'm going to go down to the bottom of the page, and where I see a 30, I'm going to put the letter M. Okay, now let's just go to this one right here. I'm still rounding to the nearest 10. So is this going to stay 690? Or what happens when it's a 96? Because 96 rounded to the nearest 10 goes up. We say, see you later, the 90s. And what would be this number rounded to the nearest 10? This is the tricky one because this number rounded to the nearest 10 would actually be 700. So we're going to find the 700. We're going to put an S there. Let's do one last one together. Let's do 473. Remember, we're rounding to the nearest 10. So we're looking at the number 70. Is it going to stay a 70 or is it going to go up to an 80? Well, let's look. We look to the person right behind it. This number is 4 or less. We're going to let it rest. This number is going to be 470. And down here, we are going to see that 470 is the letter U. Okay, now it says, why did Humpty have a great fall? Right here, this should make a sentence. If your sentence doesn't make sense or there's a word that isn't spelled correctly, then you need to go back up to the top and look at which one you could have gotten wrong. Okay? That is rounding to the nearest 10.